Hello and welcome to this second video on the animal communication series. So this time on this video we're going to be discussing how is animal communication even possible, and we're going to be doing this for your mind. There are people that can accept things, new things, almost on faith and just take them and run with them. They're blessed like that. But there are other people that need to understand what's happening, what's behind it, before they actually allow themselves to do that. In my case, I am trained as a mechanical engineer, so I need to understand things, what's happening, how is it happening, before my mind actually feels safe enough to pursue something new. And it's for all of you out there who feel that you need a rational understanding before going through with this, that this video is about. So today we're going to be debunking a few myths that we have believed that are not true, of course, but that keep us from actually knowing that animal communication is very natural and is very doable. And those myths, well, we're going to discuss them later. First, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Isabel Martins from healthandnaturallife.com, and I'm an energy healer and an animal communicator. And I'm creating this series of videos on animal communication with the intention to just spread the word that animals are not just sentient beings, they are rational beings, and we can contact them, communicate with them, connect with them at a much deeper level than the very surface one that we have right now. So on this video, as I said, we're going to be debunking some myths. Myth number one is that animals don't even think, so how can we actually communicate with them? You might not have this one, but I grew up with people telling me that animals didn't think, animals didn't have a soul, all that crap that we get taught. And I heard this somewhere, I don't remember who said it, that it's a lot easier to believe a lie that you've been told 1,000 times than a true fact that you've never heard before. So that's why we're doing this video, to help your mind bridge that gap between lies like this, that animals don't think, and the truth that actually animals are rational beings. They can communicate if we only know how to connect and communicate with them. So animals don't think. Okay, that's just BS. First, with a broader definition of thinking, you'll see that everything that you experience in your world, the sights, the sounds, the touch, you feel it all inside yourself, and you interpret everything that comes through your senses in your mind. So if you see something, it seems to be projected out there, but the fact is you're seeing it in your mind, because if you close your eyes, that thing is still out there, but you're not seeing it because it's not being reproduced in your mind. So that's a level of thinking, the basic level of thinking that allows us all to experience the world around us. Animals, of course, have that too. And not just animals, any being on this planet. And I'm going to ask you to expand your definition of being. Rocks, water, air, everything that is born, that exists on this planet is a being. They all have a certain perception of reality. It might not be the same way that we perceive the world around us, and it isn't, but it is perception of the reality of the environment around them. And that implies thought at a very different level than the rational thinking that we're used to. But going back to animals, they do have that rational thinking, and you have proof of that. Let's say, for instance, a dog. There's one person in one side of a house asking a dog to come and get a treat, something that the dog loves to eat, and there's another person on the other end of the house telling them, okay, so let's go for a walk, and they have a leash. Dog is in the middle of two choices. So he can either go to the person and have the treat, the food, or he can go to the other person and, well, enjoy the walk outside. They have to make a choice. That's a rational choice, a decision that they're making. That implies, proves beyond doubt, I would say, that they think. And if they're smart, they'll go for the treat first and then run to the other person and go have fun outside. So that's myth number one, that sometimes we don't even question these things, that animals don't think. They think. They think on that level of perception, which is a very calm, present level of awareness of their environment, and they think rationally also, make decisions, have preferences, all of that. They interpret how you feel, they know how you feel, and they support you in trying to give you anything that you need in order to move to a better feeling place. That's rational, and that's empathy also, because they're brilliant at it. So I think myth number one of animals don't think, over and done with. Okay, so let's move to a second myth. Okay, let's say then I accept that animals do think, yes, and rationally too, but how can I know what they're thinking? They don't speak, so how can I understand them? Okay, that's it's not necessarily untrue, but it's just a different language, and it's a language that we all share. Everyone, again, on this planet speaks one universal language as soon as we're born into this planet, and that language is energy. It's reading the information in energy. When you are a baby, you don't speak. You don't have the mental knowledge of what a language is, so you just read the environment around you. Through your senses, you receive, again, information. You receive information from not just the places, but from the people you are in, with places you are in, people you are with, and you read the information that they're broadcasting, even if they're not saying anything. We're always emitting energy through our energy fields, through our aura, and it's always filled with information, with our thoughts, with our feelings, with everything that's going on inside us. And when we are little, we haven't yet learned the mechanism of language, so we use that innate, inborn ability that we have to read the energy of the people and the places around us. That's why a baby can just be happy and shiny in one moment and enter a different space and start crying, and it will only calm down when it's removed from that space. It might be that on that particular place, the energy is really dense and not so happy and shiny for the baby. We read the energy, we feel the energy. There is a lot of information in feelings, and when we are young and don't yet rationalize things, meaning we talk everything through in our minds, we understand the broader meaning of things. So we receive information through our senses again, sight, sound, touch, even a direct knowing, and we understand the information that's in that energy. This is the same thing that animals do with us, with each other, and that we can go back to doing, because we just become too dependent on language. So we shut down our other more sensitive perceptions of empathy. Empathy and telepathy. And by the way, telepathy isn't a sending and receiving of words necessarily. Telepathy is the being aware of feelings at a distance. So it's feeling something or someone at a distance. So other words that you can use for that is empathy. When you are with a person, you can feel how they feel. If you're in tune, if you are connected to that person. It's the same thing with animals, but there's a lot of layers to that empathic feeling that you get. And we usually just become aware of the one that's the most surface one. It's not surface, but it's the strongest one, and it's the emotional one. So when we connect to another person, we understand how they're feeling. But if we go further down the layers, we can also understand why they're feeling like that, what's the thought that's causing them to feel that. There's a lot of information in that empathic feeling that we receive. And that's the way that we connect and communicate with animals and with any other being on this planet, is through empathy or telepathy, if you prefer to use that word. You just put your attention on something or someone, a being of any species, and you just connect with them, and you start to feel what's going on with that person or with that animal or with that rock or with that river. You receive the same information that you would receive when you are communicating and connecting at a deep level with a person. That's the way that you can communicate with them, because it's the information that you're receiving isn't just through words, it's through all of your senses. And you know how to do this. You've been doing this your entire life. You just need to step it up a little bit, or drop down into the deeper layers of the information that you're already perceiving, receiving and perceiving. So I hope that was clear on how you can, yes, actually understand what animals are thinking and communicating to you. It's because it's energetic. You're reading, you're feeling the energy of that animal exactly as you feel the energy of another person, and you know how they're feeling when you're talking with them. So myth number 3 isn't necessarily a myth, but it's something that people question me sometimes, and it is quite fun. How can we do that at a distance? So with most of my clients, I communicate with animals overseas, different continents. I've never tried different planets because I don't have clients that I know of planet, but in planet Earth, I've communicated with animals all over the globe. So how can we do this at a distance? And this will go a little bit into a little deeper science-y explanation, but it's got everything to do with oneness, if you want to go on the spiritual side, and entanglement, if you want to go on the scientific side. So oneness is a spiritual concept that we are all born of the same energy. We're all of the same source, and we just expand and coalesce into different forms. But at a root level, we are all one, all connected. If you go to the science, quantum physics particularly, and the terms of entanglement, what this means in a very simplified form is that any particle, any energy bit that contacts another particle, they from that point on are connected, and you can just stretch them into different corners of the universe and they will still be connected to each other. So what happens with this one is aware of, and this is the quantum physics definition, sort of entanglement. And you might be asking, okay, but if I never met the animal, how can I actually be connected with them and contact them? Well, it's going back to the source of creation, so the Big Bang for us. All energy that exists on our universe, it cannot be destroyed and nothing more can be created. So we have a certain amount of energy in our universe and it just changes form, cannot be destroyed, cannot be created. At least that's the version that science has found out so far. And from that first point of creation, you have a singularity, something very compact with all the energy that exists in our known universe. And that just means that every particle of energy was in contact with one another right then and there. And from the Big Bang, everything expanded out. And well, it doesn't matter how far apart the particles go, they were connected at the point of inception and they will always be connected from that point forward. So you're connected to the stars, you're connected to the galaxies, you're connected to every other life form that exists on our universe. And of course, you're connected to every being on our planet. So that's how we can actually communicate, contact, connect with beings from wherever you want to in our entire universe, not just on planet Earth, but to start on planet Earth. And I think that's what I wanted to share, to debunk some myths. Again, this is for your mind, because when you understand how something is possible, what's behind it, and how it actually is something really logical and really natural, your mind allows you to go forward with it, to believe it, and to actually do the thing that you want to do. Connect with your animals, communicate with them, or with animals all across the world, of course. I hope you enjoyed This next video will be covering what you can do to prepare yourself for animal communication. And I'll be covering some questions that I received also. So if you enjoy this, please like it, share it, do what your heart feels inspired to do, and let's spread the word. I want the entire world to know that animals are sentient beings, they are rational beings, and we can connect with them, because the level of love, the level of respect, the level of just awareness of humanity will rise so much with just this different view of all the other beings that we share our planet with. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.